Anyway, so g'day, and have a look at where I am. So today we're going to an Aquifer Discharge, which pretty much discharges a lot of the water that comes from an aquifer that feeds this lake. So if you don't know what an aquifer is, it's just groundwater. It's basically what it is, and it goes through the actual rock, either fractures or igneous and metamorphic rock, or even just a pore space in the sedimentary rock. So where I am now is pretty much basalt, which is an extrusive igneous rock, and the flow rate from that is actually quite high. It's about 50. Has a pore space about 50%, so quite high, and the flow rate is quite fast as well. And underneath the actual rock is Silt Stone and mudstone, which has a pore space of about, this is where my knowledge pretty much this is where I need to use the internet. So that's why I've got another phone. Okay, yeah, basalt velocity of water is higher, gets up to 1 meter per second. It also can get to 10 to the minus 5 centimeters per second, which is quite slow. But the siltstone and sandstone is actually quite a hell of a lot slower than that. So what I'm getting at is that the siltstone and sandstone porosity is lower, the velocity is lower than the basalt, which is capping on the top. And if the basalt was unfractured, you have a pore space of about 15%. Because it's fractured, it has a pore space of about 50%. So, okay, I like to take screenshots. Okay, yeah, the porosity of fractured rock is about 50%. Of mudstone is about 30%. That's quite low. This basalt here is actually quite fractured, so it has a high porosity, higher than the actual siltstone. So this is a beautiful, nice lake. So the flow of the actual water table is in this direction. So here's the actual lake. I think that's can't remember what that lake's called. And it would accelerate because you've got a cliff face down there. So also, this is Two Beans Farm or Chrome Homestead. So the water is coming from that way, as the elevation over there is a lot higher. You can't see here. Maybe if we go to clearing, we have, so behind me we have hills, but they're made out of granodiorite, which is pretty impermeable. So the flow rate there is only probably less than 15%, which is quite slow, but it is a recharge station, and it has intruded into the siltstone. But around the siltstone, it has metamorphic orioles, so it has hornfowls, which is just the altered siltstone. It's been very crystallized from the heat, and I don't know the flow rate in that. I presume because it's a metamorphic rock, flow rate's also less than 15% unless it's been fractured. Actually, but that is fractured. So to know the flow rate of, I'll just turn it. To know the flow rate of this aquifer, you need to know the elevation of that. So need to know 2 points, and they are the water table. So this is one of the water tables, and the other one will be kangaroos. Will be the water table down Planey Gorge, Planey River, which is just down there. So you need to know the elevation of those two, or if you can drill a borehole, the water table in the borehole, but that's very expensive and not reliable. And you could probably do another point. So across the Planey River, there is another lake which should have a higher elevation than this. So you could do a water flow from there to here, then another one from here to the Planey River. But because the elevation between this lake and the one across Planey River is not as great, probably only 1 or 2 meters, the water flow will probably be quite slower. And the elevation between this lake and Planey River, probably at least 20 meters, so flow rate should be a lot higher. So, and also you need to know the porosity of the rock bed. That's just standard, just take that off. Just an average porosity in the geological textbook. I would take the middle, because you do have a range. You have different types of like sandstones, ones that have more compacted sedimentation, ones that are probably closely nearly unconsolidated, so the flow rates will be different. So you just take the average flow rate in them, because who really has the money to do kangaroo. Hello, where are you going? Ooh. That's a young one. And there's another kangaroo. There's quite a few over there. So that's what I like about this area. Lots of kangaroos. Anyway, got distracted. Yeah, I forget what I was talking about anyway. So the flow rate, yeah, but where you have two different rocks. So here we got the Silt Stone, which has lower porosity, lower flow rate than below. So this is Silurian, and pretty much it's been weathered for about 250 million years, as far as I know. That's what I've read, because there's no more recent material on top except for the basalt, which is 1 or 2 million years old. So in between is, and sorry, I'm just trying not to fall over here. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Unconformity. So an unconformity just means that the actual rock has been eroded before another rock has been deposited. So here we are. And it's quite wet already. So basically, this is the basalt. And I would say, being covered up, I would say here, definitely here, is probably the base of the actual basalt. If we can go and look at the path, probably not going to get an indication. We should with the changed soil. Looks like it might have some silt lots of clay, so the clay's been washed down. So, no, but I don't see any indication of a change in the rock type just from the soil. But if we go down, you can see there's been a lot of recent rain. Okay. And you can see that the water table there is quite high. So indicating that this is clay and the actual permeability of the water is quite slow. If it was sandstone that forms sand. Okay, so this is what we want to look at. So here we have a little flow. So this is the water coming out of an aquifer. And we do have some basalt. So I wouldn't be surprised if the basalt just came from up there and it's just rolled down. There seem to be boulders. Here we have another flow. And there's another flow. And there's probably a few flows over that way. But if we follow this, as you can see, it's quite wet. You can follow it up. As you can see, we do have a lot of silt, and that's the actual silt stone. And these are not too common around here. So it looks like this keeps going up. And here we go. Let me have a look. Yeah, that looks like it's pretty much silt. So we're talking about this is the Silurian sedimentary rock in the soil. And it's probably been capped by clay being washed down. Also mixed in. And that's probably why the actual grass is not tall, because it's been waterlogged, it's anaerobic, and it stunts the growth of plants. So in summertime, this will be a lot easier to actually see. So we'll make another video. So anyway, this is just an indication of aquifer discharge. I would say because the flow rate in the basalt quite high, this is probably coming from the basalt flowing down from the aquifer that's in the basalt, which starts pretty much where the elevation shifts. So probably got like a 45 degree, no, probably about 30, and it shifts to like a 45-degree angle. Which, if you see here, is the actual basalt. And it's quite fractured. It's about 10 meters thick. It could be thicker in some parts, but it does go along there. So this is aquifer discharge, and the recharge is all points going that way. So just the field up there, the hills, across the road, and that, so probably about a kilometre away. That's the recharge point, and that's where it would end. Because on the other side of the hills is a different recharge for another different river system. So in summer, when all this dries out, the discharge will still be here. So it will be good to see. You know, it would also be good to see if all these plants were gone and we could actually see the unconformity between the Silurian Silt Stone, mudstone as well, and the basalt, which is about 420 million years difference. Because we did have glaciation here during the Permian, which removed a lot of the rock. And ever since that time, I think there hasn't been much deposition except for in the actual river systems. So on that side, we deposit of alluvium. On the sides, you've got colluvium. So all this down here is probably also alluvium and colluvium. So colluvium comes from the sides, alluvium transported by the river. And so this would probably be classed as colluvium because it fell down from the side of the actual hill. And as you can see, the water goes pretty much into the Planey River. Oh, my wife's gonna kill me. Don't bring the mud in the house. That's why you take your shoes off when you go inside. So we go down here, you can see it's quite boggy, bog. So a lot of this has probably got a lot of peat underneath. So if you can see the water course, it goes all the way up there, up to the actual basalt. And as this is, the plants are quite comfortable here, I don't think that there is the same type of thing happening here. So it's just that part over there. They're very curious. Anyway, let's go see the Planey River. Oh, this is so exciting. I do like geology. It's quite easy to learn about it. There's lots of resources on the internet. All the universities, well, at least all the universities in the West that have geology do have a department that actually has websites on it. But, oh shit. That there is quite deep. My whole foot. Yeah, even though I've got boots on. It's like quicksand. There's probably another discharge region here. You can see. So maybe the basalt. It ends up there. Basalt does end up there. This is colluvium, and pretty much it is clay covering the actual previous soil that's developed. So you can see, yeah, that's pretty much Silt Stone. And here is where the discharge point is, around about here. So that's the discharge point. This could be good for geography as well. Someone said I should do geography. So, you know, you got areas where water can be discharged. So, geomorphology, geology, geography, they're all related. So, geography Geology is just a subclass of geography, just deals with the natural features. And geography deals with natural features and how humans can use it. People. Anyway, here whoa. So what part? I can smell death already. Here we have a dead kangaroo. Quite fresh. There's the skull. So those insects in Australia like to eat it. Yeah. So the kangaroo probably died of old age. Ooh. There's its claw. Hasn't been dead long, probably about a month. And here's the Planey River. So you can see the rock. It's in flood at the moment. You can see this basalt. So that's artificial down there. But over here, it's pretty natural Silurian rock. You've got more Silurian rock over there. So that part of the hill. So you've got a trail in there. Over there you got a hill made of Silurian rock. Silurian rock, and then it just grades into basalt. It doesn't grade, just abruptly cuts into basalt. So because there is that tunnel there, it's probably going up that trail of the hill. Native plants, acacia. This one, I think it's Banksia. So that tunnel, where did it go? I have a feeling it goes up this way because this like a depression that they've excavated and filled in. Could even be this. This could be like where the actual tunnel. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. That's a natural. That's the old river system. Not in use anymore because they. I mean, that's probably where that. That's probably where that discharge point is. It goes up that way. So hard not knowing where it is. Anyway, so that's my trip to a local discharge of an aquifer. I hope you can find one in your area. Should be where you find pretty much two sequences of rock formations, so two different rock formations that have two different discharge. Walking up the hill a bit tired. So I'd say how that works is one of them is a lot slower at discharging or water flow than the actual other one. So I think that discharges from the high flowing basalt, and the Silurian is probably just percolating, discharging into the actual river itself. I need to get fit.